Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So it looks like AJ will be back in the UK with his AK. Because you know he's out here, man, on a one-shot, one-kill mission. And I think he deserves to return to the UK and fight. Now, according to Eddie Hearn, the plan is for Anthony Joshua to fight again by the summer, June, July, back in the UK. And, of course, unless you've been sleeping underneath a rock, you know, Anthony Joshua is in a holding pattern. Just trying to see who's going to win between Fury and Usyk. And depending on who wins, if there's an opportunity for him to insert himself into the equation so he can fight the victor. However, I don't think that's going to happen. There's a rematch clause. If Tyson Fury wins, he won't want to rematch Usyk, but Usyk's going to want to rematch him, so Tyson Fury has to honor that. If Usyk wins, I don't care what Tyson Fury says. He's a prideful man. He's going to want to rematch Usyk just because these guys are making, you know, gazillions of dollars. Tyson Fury's making like at least 70 million. I think Usyk's making 40 or 50 million. That's a lot of money. But the bottom line is Eddie Hearn has to make a decision on, you know, just exactly who he wants to put AJ in the ring with. Since AJ's out here on a one-shot, one-kill mission, there's discussions about him fighting Hrgovic, but they got to wait and see what exactly is going to happen with the IBF. Are they going to strip the winner of Usyk and Fury, and now the IBF belt becomes available, and then, you know, AJ and Hrgovic fight for it. You know, no one knows what's going to happen. But I'll tell you what's interesting is word on the street is there are a couple opponents outside of Hrgovic that are being tabled right now. Discussions ongoing. So let me show you something. When you look at the heavyweight division, right, we already know what's going on with Usyk, who's the man, and Tyson Fury, who's the cockerhole. But, you know, it is what it is. Tyson Fury is in the number one spot. But with Anthony Joshua, as far as him and an opponent for his return to the UK, if not Hrgovic, word on the street is it could be Deontay Wilder, it could be Dillian Whyte, and you'd never guess who the third opponent is. Could be Gerald Big Baby Miller. Now, I know a lot of people are saying right now, hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. I'm just telling you some of the names that have been thrown out there. Out of all the names that I just mentioned to you, I think Hrgovic is a very good candidate. I think Deontay Wilder is a good candidate. I think Dillian Whyte is a good candidate, even though I don't think he really deserves the fight. And Gerald Big Baby Miller, I don't think he deserves anything, but he's a good candidate. And you know why all four of those guys are good candidates and why some more than the others? Think about Hrgovic. We as diehard boxing fans, we want to see AJ get there and push himself. We want to see him fight a guy like Hrgovic and tranquilize Hrgovic. Then we can say AJ is really back. No one's going to question the Franklin win. No one's going to question the Hellenius win. No one's going to question Otto Waller. No one's going to question Ngannou. If Anthony Joshua can return and knock out a guy like Flip Hrgovic, he's going to get all the credit in the world for that win because Flip Hrgovic is a monster. But how marketable is a fight back in the UK, AJ and Flip Hrgovic? And I get it. Doesn't matter who AJ fights. He's selling out stadiums. Gazillions of dollars are being made. I understand that. But what's going to get the juices flowing as far as an opponent for AJ? AJ versus Flip Hrgovic or AJ versus Deontay Wilder? That fight sells. Even though Deontay Wilder came out here and was floating like a butterfly and didn't even attempt to sting like a bee, right? He took it to the stupid. Still, just the idea of Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder fighting, that's the fight that you want. And that's the fight that's going to sell. And I am sure whatever is the biggest venue that Eddie Hearn can lock down, I'm sure it sells out within 48 hours. I ain't going to say 24, because there's some people who feel like Deontay Wilder didn't look that great. But I say 48 hours, that whole thing sells out. No matter what you say, Anthony Joshua against Deontay Wilder is still a good fight. And it's easy to market and sell that fight. The second name, Dillian Whyte. Well, he's returning this week. He's in Ireland fighting. But anyway, we have to see how that goes. But there's still the grudge match there. And it's still a marketable fight. And Dillian Whyte and AJ, I think they would be good together, especially when it came to marketing and selling that fight. Because Dillian Whyte's going to basically, he's going to get that microphone in front of his face and he's going to unload on AJ. And who knows, he may take a few jabs at Eddie Hearn, and he may come out and try to defend himself of what happened last year when he was getting ready to fight Anthony Joshua in the sequel. But the bottom line is, I still think that fight would sell because Dillian Whyte is still a big name, popular name. People are curious about him and what happened to him, why did he disappear for 6 months. So I think that's another interesting fight. That's an easy sell that can fill up a stadium. Then the third name, Gerald Big Baby Miller. I don't care what anyone says. I think we all want to see Anthony Joshua just get in there and kick his ass. Just get in there and just totally tranquilize him. But that's the fight that, for me, it's like I'm not so sure about that. People will say anything I hear on the internet. But again, Anthony Joshua versus Gerald Big Baby Miller. I think that fight sells, and it does better numbers than Anthony Joshua against Flip Hrgovic. I think people will still want to see Gerald Big Baby Miller. Once he starts talking and he starts running his mouth, it's gonna pique people's interest, and you almost believe that he's going to win the fight because he when he speaks it so convincingly. But that's not the case, right? Because he lost to Daniel Dubois. So what do you think Anthony Joshua will do to him? So I think realistically, Hrgovic is probably the first option. Then Deontay Wilder and what's his name? Dillian Whyte. But nonetheless, Deontay Wilder and Dillian Whyte, and I know this may sound crazy. I think those fights aren't as risky as Anthony Joshua fighting Flip Hrgovic. And I know Deontay Wilder, his knockout record, how special the right hand is. But he just doesn't seem to be in the right frame of mind at this moment. Furthermore, I'm not so sure the Bronze Bomber is going to try to bomb anything once he gets a taste of what Anthony Joshua is dishing out. Once he gets a taste of that right hand or the left hook or the jab, or he feels that power, I think Deontay Wilder is going to freeze up and he's not going to let his hands go. But still, those are winnable fights for Anthony Joshua. And it's one thing to stay busy, but he's got to win. You put him in a fight with a guy like Flip Hrgovic, that fight could take a pound of flesh out of Anthony Joshua. Because Flip Hrgovic's not just going to lay down. So when you look at it, realistically, as far as AJ and fighting back home, what's really there for him? Zhang, no, because he's rematching Parker. Parker, no, because he's rematching Zhang. Hrgovic, yes. Frank Sanchez, no, because Frank Sanchez is about to fight Caballero. Jared Anderson, I doubt that, because Jared Anderson is, I don't know what they're doing with that fella, man, but he's made some poor choices, and I think we all can agree he's not ready for Anthony Joshua. Joe Joyce, no, because he's about to fight this week, trying to get his feet wet. You can't go from fighting, what's his name, Cash Ali, to come to fight Anthony Joshua. Deontay Wilder, that's a good option. Caballero already said he's fighting Frank Sanchez. When you come down here and you take a look, you got Manuel Char, Lanier Perro, Cassius Chaney, F.A. Jagba. Daniel Dubois will be a good opponent for Anthony Joshua. Daniel Dubois will be a very good opponent. I think Daniel Dubois. may be a good opponent for Anthony Joshua. It's a fight a good name. He's got some momentum going. He came out here and he beat Joe Big Baby Miller, and I think that's a good lead in to trying to build a fight with Daniel Dubois against Anthony Joshua. But the bottom line is, they're gonna make sure when AJ goes back to the UK with his AK that they're shooting to kill. And even if it's Flip Hrgovic, I think they're going to go all out. But they got to make sure that they get their target. And I just think Wilder's an easier target. I think Dillian Whyte's an easier target. I think Daniel Dubois is an easier target. And, Gerald Big Baby Miller is a super easy target. But that Flip Hrgovic, don't be surprised, people, if AJ ends up fighting Deontay Wilder. I'm going to tell you, do not be surprised. Deontay Wilder would take that fight. I think Deontay Wilder would lose. But it's I think it's less risk than Flip Hrgovic, but you just don't know if Wilder has found himself and if he's going to come out there to the UK and decide that he's going to be back on Mission Bomb Squad. Because if so, things could get tricky in there because it only takes one shot. And Anthony Joshua, he is shooting to kill with that right hand. And we know Deontay Wilder can shoot and kill you with his right hand. He just, in his last fight, didn't show us that he's still out there on a seek and destroy mission. But he may be, if he gets the call to fight AJ, especially to go out there and make some good money in the UK, he may take it and he may wake up. We just don't know how it's going to go. That being said, y'all keep cool. AJ's back in the UK with his AK, but who is he going to fight? That's the question. I'm in the breeze.